And this Sunday officially marks 1 year since Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were shot and killed at their home in Brooklyn Park. Today, flags were flown at half-staff to honor them. Messages and tributes are continuing to pour in as well today. In a statement to the Minnesota House DFL saying this, today marks 1 year since Melissa and Mark Hortman were killed in a horrific act of violence. We miss them every day. May we all honor their legacy. House Republicans also releasing a statement saying 1 year ago, Minnesota Law Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. Today we honor their lives, their legacy of public service, and the lasting impact they had on our state. We continue to pray for the family and loved ones. Today's anniversary is emotionally difficult for the Hortmans' family and friends, you can imagine, but the weight of their grief is lessened a bit by the tributes that hopefully ensure Mark and Melissa are never forgotten. Our Corin Hoggard shows us why a few of the honors are so meaningful to their loved ones.
Melissa Hortman's death took away a leader and a neighbor in the House chamber from Representative Sidney Jordan.
This year I sat next to a bouquet of roses, and it was really difficult to just sit next to an empty desk, but also feel the weight of what wasn't there.
Lawmakers spent the first day of this year's session paying tribute to Hortman, and they kept a fresh bouquet in her seat all year. But eventually they will stop marking off her space and keeping flowers at her desk. Instead, the legislature's picked a lot of other ways they intend to keep her memory alive long term. Jordan's favorite tribute is a working group figuring out how to turn the entire Capitol complex into the Melissa and Mark Hortman Memorial State Park. Hortman was a driving force in the $100 million spent on trees since 2023, and about 180 of them have gone up around the Capitol, along with native plants.
This has been sort of almost a year now of Capitol landscaping that makes our Capitol more like Minnesota's ecosystem and environment. It was really Melissa's vision to have the Capitol lawn be full of trees and full of our native plants.
Friends and strangers have planted hundreds of trees in her name over the last year, including 150 by the Achieve Services crew in Blaine and their friends across the state. The legislature also named the state's community solar garden program in honor of Melissa, who spearheaded its creation. And they named a Lake County mountain bike trail in honor of Mark Hortman.
His favorite bike trail. I mean, these are things that show the community is standing with the family and they remember Mark and Melissa.
Their son Colin tells me his mother was especially proud of the work she did to get the 610 highway built. She kept a photo of the groundbreaking on her desk, so it's fitting the road will now be known as the Hortman Memorial Highway. Colin said his parents were humble enough to have been embarrassed by their names going up on all these projects, but Melissa's best friend says, under the circumstances, she'd understand.
If Melissa had died at the age of 85 of cancer, probably a lot of this wouldn't be going on. But she didn't die that way, and frankly, she died in her service to Minnesota. She would not have been killed but for that. So if Minnesota wishes to honor her by naming a freeway after the Hortmans, or naming legislation after her, or naming a building after her, I personally am in favor, and I think that she would let us do what makes us feel better.
Corin Hoggard, Fox 9.